Hector's mocking laugh echoed through the cavernous chamber as he slapped the one-sided peace treaty on the obsidian table before the wide-eyed human ambassadors. The Kobali warlord's arrogance hung thick in the recycled station air, mirrored in the sneering faces of the coalition representatives gathered to witness Earth's subjugation. For a tense moment in that grand hall lined with exotic treasures plundered from 100 conquered worlds, the galaxy held its breath. Caleb Murray, the unassuming human diplomat in his plain gray suit, silently scanned the unjust terms etched into the treaty's glowing tablet. Then he started to chuckle. Softly at first, but soon his entire delegation erupted into roaring laughter that reverberated off the chamber's gilded walls. The coalition ambassadors froze, their haughty grins melting into masks of slack-jawed confusion. Caleb stood abruptly, fixing Hector with a stare as hard and unyielding as the station's titanium hull. "This farce of a treaty isn't worth the silicon it's printed on," he declared, his voice cutting through the shocked silence. "The Terran Alliance didn't cross the stars to become vassals begging for scraps from your table. We have a counter-proposal." He nodded to his aide, who strode forward and slammed a metal briefcase onto the table with an echoing clang. The case opened to reveal a glowing, crystalline data core. "Our terms. Trust me, you'll want to read them closely. The future of your precious empire may depend on it." As the stunned ambassadors erupted into frenzied whispers, Caleb allowed a grim smile. The galaxy had underestimated Earth for the last time. The frontiers of human ambition stretched far beyond the petty borders of these squabbling alien realms. The Kobali would learn soon enough to fear humanity's laughter. The Terran Alliance delegation strode through the orbital station's winding corridors, the echoes of their laughter still ringing in their ears. Caleb Murray allowed himself a moment of satisfaction, savoring the shocked expressions on the coalition ambassadors' faces as they departed the negotiation chamber. Yet even as the thrill of victory coursed through his veins, Caleb's thoughts turned to the sacrifices that had brought humanity to this pivotal moment. The long hours spent in clandestine meetings, the risky undercover missions to acquire alien technologies, the brilliant minds like his wife Lena, who had worked tirelessly to unravel the secrets of the universe. All of it had led to this day. As he walked, his mind drifted back to the early days of the Terran Alliance's covert research programs. He remembered the awe in Lena's voice as she described the first successful test of the reverse-engineered propulsion system, the way her eyes sparkled with the promise of the stars. But he also recalled the shadows that haunted her face when she spoke of the potential dangers of their work, the fear that their advancements could be turned against the very people they sought to protect. Caleb's musings were interrupted by the chime of his communicator. He tapped the device and a holographic display sprang to life before him. The face of Admiral Nolan Stark, commander of the Terran Alliance fleet, hovered in the air, his features etched with unshakable focus. "Ambassador Murray," Stark began, his voice tight with urgency, "we have a situation on Astoria Prime. The colony is under attack by unknown hostiles. Their defenses are faltering, and they need immediate support." Caleb's heart clenched at the news. Astoria Prime was one of humanity's most vital outposts, a symbol of their resilience and ingenuity on the galactic stage. He nodded curtly to the Admiral. "Understood. We'll divert any available ships to assist. Keep me updated on the situation." As the hologram winked out, Caleb turned to his team, his expression hardening into a mask of dedication. "You heard the Admiral. We have work to do. Let's get to the command center and coordinate our response." The delegation quickened their pace, their footsteps ringing out against the metal deck plates. The Kobali may have agreed to negotiate, but the true test of humanity's strength was yet to come. On the distant shores of Astoria Prime, the fate of the Terran Alliance hung in the balance, and Caleb Murray would be damned if he let it slip through his fingers. The command center buzzed with frantic activity as Caleb Murray burst through the doors, his delegation hot on his heels. Uniformed officers hunched over glowing holographic displays, their faces taut with concentration as they coordinated the Terran Alliance's response to the unfolding crisis on Astoria Prime. Caleb strode to the central communications console and initiated a call. Moments later, the holographic visage of Dr. Lena Sorensen shimmered into existence before him. Her chestnut hair was pulled back into a tight bun, accentuating the worried creases around her bright green eyes. "Lena, what do you have for me?" Caleb asked, his voice strained with urgency. Lena's fingers danced across an unseen interface as data streamed across the display. "Caleb, the attackers' weapons and tactics are highly advanced. We're seeing energy signatures and deployment patterns that match some of our most classified prototypes." Caleb's blood ran cold. "The stolen tech from the Prometheus facility?" Lena nodded grimly. "It looks that way, but there's more. These aren't just carbon copies. They've been modified, enhanced. Whoever's behind this has impressive scientific capabilities." Caleb's mind raced as he processed the implications. Modified prototypes in enemy hands, an overwhelming assault on a key human colony. He turned to Admiral Stark, who had joined him at the console. "Admiral, what's the status of our fleet?" "The 5th Expeditionary Group is already en route to Astoria Prime, but they won't be enough. Not against this level of firepower." Stark's teeth gritted as he studied the tactical readouts. A sudden, reckless idea seized Caleb. He turned back to the hologram of his wife. "Lena, those prototypes, they were designed to counter Kobali tech, right?" Lena's eyes widened. "Yes, but Caleb, you can't possibly be suggesting—" "A joint operation. Humans and Kobali working together to save the colony." Caleb's voice rang with a newfound commitment. Admiral Stark gaped at him. "Murray, are you insane? The Kobali are just looking for an excuse to bury us." Caleb held up a hand. "Think about it, Admiral. If these weapons are based on anti-Kobali tech, then the Kobali have a vested interest in not letting them fall into the wrong hands. And if we're right about the origins of this attack, then we need to send a clear message that humanity won't be divided by sabotage and espionage." He turned back to Lena. "Contact Commander Zarn of the Kobali delegation. Tell him humanity is proposing a temporary alliance for the sake of Astoria Prime and galactic stability. If he agrees, we'll share the colony's defense schematics and coordinate our fleets." Lena held his gaze for a long moment, then nodded. "I'll make it happen. But Caleb, be careful. We're walking a thin line here." "I know, but if we don't take this chance, Astoria Prime will fall, and that's a blow we might not recover from." As Lena's hologram winked out, Caleb turned to face the sea of uncertain faces in the command center. "I won't lie to you. We're about to do something unprecedented, but if there's one thing I've learned, it's that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to adapt, to forge new paths where none existed before. Today, we take a stand not just for Astoria Prime, but for the future of our species in this galaxy. And we do it side by side with those we once called enemies. Because that's what it means to be human, to find common ground in the face of the impossible." As the command crew erupted into a chorus of determined affirmations, Caleb felt a flicker of hope amidst the looming chaos. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and moral complexity. But for now, they had a colony to save and a point to prove. The Terran Alliance would meet this challenge as it always had, with unwavering dedication and the indomitable human spirit. The dust had barely settled on Astoria Prime when alarms blared through the Terran Alliance Command Center. Caleb Murray's communicator lit up with an urgent message from High Counselor Ector of the Kobali Empire. "Ambassador Murray," Ector's gravelly voice crackled through the device. "Explain yourself. Now." Caleb's stomach tightened as he activated the holographic display. Ector's reptilian features contorted with almost unchecked fury. His scales flushed a deep crimson. "High Counselor, Silence!" Ector hissed. "Our forces intercepted weapon signatures matching your most advanced prototypes during the Astoria Prime attack. You dare to feign alliance while harboring such destructive potential?" Caleb took a steadying breath. "High Counselor, I assure you, the Terran Alliance had no knowledge of—" "Lies!" Ector's fist slammed down, causing the hologram to flicker. "You will provide a full accounting of your military capabilities, or consider our tentative partnership null and void." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving Caleb standing in stunned silence. He turned to Admiral Stark, who nodded grimly. It's time, Murray. We have to tell them about Sentinel. Caleb's heart made. He'd hoped to keep Project Sentinel under wraps, but with tensions escalating, they had little choice. He tapped his communicator, re-establishing the link to the Kobali delegation. "High Counselor Ector," Caleb began, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "I'm prepared to brief you on a classified Terran initiative. But I warn you, what I'm about to reveal may change the course of our relations forever." As Caleb laid bare the details of Project Sentinel, Ector's expression morphed from anger to disbelief, and finally to cold calculation. The initiative's scope, developing countermeasures against potential threats from advanced species, clearly unnerved the Kobali leader. "You dare to build weapons specifically designed to neutralize our kind?" Ector snarled. "Not just the Kobali," Caleb countered. "Sentinel was created to safeguard humanity against any potential threat. We've seen too many worlds fall to remain unprepared." Ector's eyes narrowed. "This changes everything, human. Consider our alliance terminated." As the transmission ended, Caleb noticed Commander Zarn, Ector's second-in-command, lingering in the background. The Kobali officer's expression was unreadable, but there was a glimmer of something in his eyes. Respect, fear. Whatever it was, Caleb knew Zarn had witnessed humanity's true potential firsthand at Astoria Prime. Before Caleb could ponder the implications, his communicator chimed again. This time it was Lena, her face pale and drawn. "Caleb, you need to see this," she said, her voice tight. "I've uncovered something about those stolen prototypes. It's worse than we thought." Lena's findings scrolled across Caleb's datapad, each line more damning than the last. Corporate espionage, technology theft, and at the center of it all, Calliope Industries. "Damien Locke," Caleb muttered, the name leaving a bitter taste in his mouth. The CEO of Calliope had always seemed too smooth, too eager to secure government contracts. Now Caleb understood why. As he digested the implications of Lena's discovery, another alert flashed across his screen. Surveillance footage from a remote sector showed a flotilla of unmarked ships converging on Archimedes Station, a vital human mining outpost. Caleb's blood ran cold as he recognized the lead vessel, Locke's personal yacht, the Gilded Serpent. "Admiral," he called out, his voice tight with urgency, "we have a situation. Damien Locke has gone rogue, and he's making a play for Archimedes Station. We need to move, now." As the command center erupted into frenzied activity, Caleb's mind raced. With the Kobali alliance in tatters and a traitor on the loose with humanity's most advanced weapons, the stakes had never been higher. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Archimedes Station, but the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. The command center's frenetic activity faded to a dull roar in Caleb's ears as he absorbed the full implications of Lena's findings. Damien Locke, the suave CEO of Calliope Industries, had orchestrated a technological heist of staggering proportions, and now he was making his move on Archimedes Station. Before Caleb could fully process this betrayal, his communicator chirped again. High Counselor Ector's holographic visage materialized, his scales now a deep, menacing purple. "Ambassador Murray," Ector's voice dripped with awe-inspiring fury, "your duplicity knows no bounds. We demand immediate reparations and increased oversight of all Terran military operations. Failure to comply will result in the termination of our alliance." Caleb's mind raced, searching for a diplomatic lifeline. "High Counselor, I understand your anger, but we face a common threat. Damien Locke has stolen advanced prototypes and—" "Enough!" Ector snarled. "You will meet our demands or face the consequences." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving Caleb to stare at the empty air where Ector's hologram had been. He turned to Admiral Stark, who wore a grim expression. "Sir," Stark began, "we're receiving reports of unrest on Earth and our outer colonies. Anti-alien sentiment is spreading like wildfire. There are claims that the Astoria Prime attack was a Kobali false flag operation." Caleb's stomach churned. "Who's behind these rumors?" "A group calling themselves Terra Primum," Stark replied, pulling up a data file. "Led by Colonel Jiang, they're pushing for a complete rejection of alien cooperation." Caleb's mind whirled, piecing together a plan. We need to get ahead of this. Set up a summit with the Kobali leadership on Hecate Station. Neutral ground. We'll bring our full delegation and... Alarms blared, cutting off Caleb's words. A junior officer's panicked voice rang out. Sir, our shuttle to Hecate Station is under attack. The main view screen flickered to life, showing their diplomatic shuttle engulfed in weapons fire. Caleb watched in horror as the ship's engines sputtered and died, sending it spiraling towards Hecate's surface. Terra primum, Stark growled. It has to be. Caleb nodded, his teeth gritted. Get me a secure line to Commander Zarn, now. As Stark worked to establish the connection, Caleb turned to Lena, who had just entered the command center. Her face was pale, but her eyes burned with perseverance. Lena, I need you with me on Hecate, Caleb said, his voice low and urgent. We may be walking into a trap, but it's our only chance to salvage this alliance. Lena nodded, squeezing his hand. Always, Caleb. The view screen flickered, revealing Commander Zarn's stoic face. The Kobali officer's expression was unreadable, but there was a hint of curiosity in his multifaceted eyes. Commander, Caleb began, I know tensions are high, but we need your help. Our shuttle's been attacked, and we have reason to believe Terra Primum is behind it. Will you grant us safe passage to Hecate Station? Zarn was silent for a long moment, his alien features impossible to read. Finally, he spoke. I will arrange for your transport, Ambassador, but be warned, High Counselor Ector is displeased. Your reception may not be warm. Caleb nodded grimly. Understood, Commander, and thank you. As the transmission ended, Caleb turned to face the command center staff. Prepare for immediate departure to Hecate Station, and get me everything we have on Colonel Jong and Terra Primum. Something tells me they're after more than just disrupting a summit. With a flurry of activity, the Terran delegation prepared for their perilous journey. As Caleb and Lena boarded the backup shuttle, the weight of their mission pressed down upon them. The fate of human-Kobali relations, and perhaps the future of humanity itself, hung in the balance. The shuttle's engines roared to life, propelling them towards an uncertain reception on Hecate Station. Caleb's mind raced with possibilities and potential pitfalls. Whatever awaited them on Hecate, he knew one thing for certain. The galaxy was about to witness the true mettle of humanity, for better or worse.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.